Hey guys, what's going on? It is a big night here. We are coming back with our latest video about Destiny, codename Frontiers. They just did another developer insight, next generation armor. So we're going to go through this together. So I released 5 hours ago. I'm just now getting around to it because I had work today. So let's get right into it. Welcome to one of many developer insight articles for codename Frontiers. Over the weeks and months to come, we will be covering a lot of different topics about changes coming to Destiny 2 next year with these deeper dives. Check back with our Paving the Way for New Frontiers article. That's going to have everything. I went over that a couple videos ago, so if you're up to date with those, I told you about that. This deep dive is in our future plans for armor. Compared to weapons, armor has a relatively unexciting reward for a few years now. In the year ahead, we will be introducing new properties to armor and changing how stats work to make it easier to change armor around. Yeah, overall, armor has been pretty lackluster, I guess you could say, in the best, just because of the main fact of you get your roles that you want and you just don't grind anymore for armor. Like, I got my artifice roles and I don't do anything else. I got the roles I wanted for PvP. I got the roles I wanted for my certain prismatic, my certain void, my certain any type of subclass. Same with my hunter and my titan. I got the same exact roles, and warlock got the same exact roles for everything. I don't really grind farmer no more. I just go for the new exotic every season it comes out, and after I get the new exotic and maybe the few rolls I want my weapon by crafting them now, I'm good. But so the problem, let's see what they said. Let's see if they said what I just was talking about. In the years since the last major update, Shadowkeep's Armor 2.0, armor has settled into a relatively static part of the reward story. Once you have the right stat roll, there is very little else to look forward to. And to eradicate balance of stat values has a lock-in effect that makes it hard to want to swap anything out anyway. What I just said, you don't want to swap nothing out. Once you get what you want, you're fine. For armor to be exciting again, it needs some unique properties, and stats need to be easier to manage without so much need for fine-tuning. The solution: reworked stat mechanics. Stats on armor will be changing in Codename Frontiers to make it more player friendly. First major change is the mechanics of the stats themselves. Number one, stat effects will no longer be tied to every 10 points, but every point in a stat will provide a benefit. Okay. This change is intended to reduce the lock-in effect that happens when fine-tuned combination stat values make it feel impossible to switch out any single armor piece. That is very, very, very right how they're saying that. Once you get the certain type of armor you want to change out armor, you have to have the exact rolls on everything. If you have a spike roll or if you have a really low roll, you could be screwed. Stat effects will be capped at 200, with the range from 101 to 200 providing an additional powerful effect building on the base effect. This change is intended to support deeper investment in a smaller number of stats and spikier stat distributions on armor with fewer secondary dump stats. Okay. So basically what they're saying with spiker stats and dump stats, how they're saying that right now is how I was just talking about. Say we have a piece of armor and it has really low mobility, like 2 mobility, but then it has like 30 intellect. The spiker stat is the intellect and that dump stat is mobility. In addition to the changes above changes, the distribution of stats on armor will also be changing. Legendary armor will have a stat archetype which determines the primary and secondary stat types, with a third stat being a free roll. The values of these stats should overall be spikier, leading to fewer points in dump stats. Okay. The class slot, Hunter Cloaks, Warlock Bonds, and Titan Marks will have full stat distributions on par with other slots. Oh, wow. Let's look at this. So it looks like, okay, they actually added another type of armor. They're probably, I'm guessing, they're going to be building into rolls of, not rolls, but like sets, because this looks like it's like an armor set type deal. Primary stat is strength, secondary stat is discipline, tertiary stat is intellect. So it looks like this Titan building the strength. That makes sense. They want to do a lot of meleeing. Set bonus. Oh, yep, I was right. Okay, so it looks like 2 pieces of armor and then 4, and the exotic is that 5th one, so they're only going up to 4 for that. Makes sense. The result will be a smaller number of unique stats on any piece of armor with larger contributions to these stats, and every stat point providing a benefit. These changes should ultimately make every piece of armor more interesting and easier to evaluate. New stats. Some stats will be changing with these 3 goals in mind. Number 1, improve specific weak stats that offer little value. Reduce or eliminate mandatory must-have stats, mobility on hunters, recovery on warlocks, strength on titans, and across the board, resilience. If you're going into any endgame activity and you do not have 100 resilience and you're dying a lot, anyone on that team is going to be like, "What's your resilience at?" They'll check for you. They'll check you first before they even say anything. These changes are still under active development, but here are a few examples from work in progress designs which will eventually include most or all of the current stats found on armor. Discipline. From 1 to 100 provides increasing grenade cooldown. We all knew that. From 101 to 200 provides an increasing chance to gain a bonus grenade charge whenever your grenade becomes available. Okay, so say you're running pulse grenade on Titan, because Night Titans like their pulse grenades. When you get that grenade back, you have a chance, if you're over 101, to get 2 of them. Stat rename to grenade to improve readability. That's going to make a lot of sense for the new players, because a lot of the new players are like, what do you mean discipline? What do you mean strength? I'm like, build into meleeing. Where's that? Now it's going to make sense. From 1 to 100 provides increasing melee cooldown. 100 to 200, 101 to 200, same thing, bonus charge. Stat rename to melee. Wow. To improve readability. Special ammo. From 1 to 100 increases rate at which special ammo bricks drop from final blows. From 101 to 200 provides an increasing chance that a double-sized brick will drop. Is there special ammo on this? Where is this coming from? That's one of their new stats they were just talking about. New stats. They just said new stats, and that's one of the new ones. Set bonuses. Okay, like I was just saying up above. The second major change to armor is an introduction of set bonuses. Think of them like an ordnance trait for armor. They represent the theme of the armor and allow you to reflect that fantasy in the way your build plays. Set bonuses are perks granted when you equip 2 or 4 pieces of armor to the same set. This allows you to either commit to 2 bonuses from the same set or find wow, I didn't even think about combinations that fit your unique needs. While keeping both approaches in mind as they take shape, and are excited to see what each Guardian chooses to do with these new tools. Note that there are no bonus at 5 pieces because most builds expect to use, like I was saying earlier, they expect to use that exotic armor. As you'll see, perks will consist of either existing mods or will be newly designed. We've included a few examples below that represent the general direction we'd like to go. First one, starting text mechanica. If you have 1 to 2 pieces, if you have 2 pieces, the first perk is while shooting from the hip, you have increased movement speed and weapon handling, and the effect increases when you score hits. So if you're making hits, it just gets better. Text mechanical weapons have increased range and accuracy when hip fired for 4 pieces. Non-stop aggression for 2 pieces. Final blows with fresh reloaded weapons heal you. That could be crazy. 4 pieces. Damaging a target with a shotgun or fusion rifle increases the damage it takes from those weapons for a short time. So imagine doing this right here. I'll say you're... Wow. Okay, let me keep reading, then I'll talk about what I want to talk about. Demolitions expert. Direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase their reload speed. Repeated direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase grenade ability damage. Vanguard operative. Activating your grenade gives you and nearby allies damage resistance against combatants. Defeating champions with a finisher generates special ammo for you and your fire team. So imagine you run non-stop aggression and Vanguard operative. So your grenade gives you and your team resistance, and then say you need to get health back. So you can just build into, for instance, getaway artists. Pop your grenade. You're getting damage resistance. Final blows with your weapon. You're going to be using a pretty powerful weapon, usually rocket sidearm. You're healing yourself. You don't even need to run Devour no more if you want to on Warlock anymore. You want to run Getaway Artist without running Devour and run all the 3 mini souls. You run Stasis. You could run your Stasis turret. You can run your Arc turret. And you can run your Helion. Or Hellion, my bad. Direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase the reload speed. You can even do that. And then say you don't have a well on your team. Non-stop and demolition. Final blows. Oh, never mind. Final blows. I lied. What happens to my old armor? Old legendary armor will be changed as little as possible, but because the change to stat mechanics and types are global changes, old armor pieces will have their stat types but not their values changed around when possible. These changes will be to the most similar stat, but with some stats being fundamentally reworked, this won't always be possible. Okay, that makes sense. What about exotic armor? Updating the exotic armor pursuit is already on the roadmap, but won't be a part of the initial update that is focusing on legendary armor. So to make sure the exotics and their build defining perks remain a compelling option, we are working out a design that will allow players to update their exotic armor to bring their stat bonuses in line with their changes to legendary armor. The exotic class item introduced in the final shape are a special case. Even though legendary class items will be gaining full random stats with this update, we don't wish to add additional randomness to the exotic class item chase. Instead, we will be providing a method for players to update their existing exotic class items with additional stats so they can basically focus them. Okay, that makes sense. More details on the longer term plans for exotic armor coming as we nail them down. Wait a second. My vault is full. Where am I supposed to store all this new armor? We know that vault pressure is a real problem for many players, even with recent increases to vault space. Outside of adding more space, an option, real solutions that enable long-term storage of more desirable roles are really hard problems. But those are the problems we're penciling into our roadmap at or around next year's second expansion, codenamed Behemoth. Well, Behemoth? Really? We have to wait a year and a half for this? We'll share more details when we have a clear direction on how we think we can solve this one. I know how to solve it. Give us more vault space right now. Like we've been asking forever. Just give us more vault space. But yeah, overall, I like where they're moving with this. I like how they're doing this for the armor. I like how they're moving forward, really building into over 100, because if you have over 100 on some things, it's just a wasted stat. But I will be making a video either sometime today or sometime tomorrow for the live stream they just did. They talked about a little the new stuff coming, Icebreaker, for instance, what some of the perks are going to be on it, how it's going to work, Onslaught, which I'll go into deeper detail when I get to that point. But thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching. Hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you.